Now, I want to ask you about the latest annual World Happiness Report. It was released recently, and for the first time, America fell out of the top 20, and this was all due to the unhappiness of young people. Those under 30 are miserable, it seems. So the US is now ranked 23 overall in the world, but when you look at just the people who are aged 60 and over, America comes in 10th place globally. But when you look at the under 30s, Douglas, they're ranked 62nd in the world. Why is there such a gulf between young and old? Why are young people who've grown up in an age of peace and prosperity and equality so miserable?
It's very interesting. I'm slightly skeptical always of happiness indexes, but they tend to produce a finding that people are happiest in the world in Bhutan and unhappy everywhere else. Nothing against Bhutan, but I'm a little skeptical of some of the methodology. This, however, does ring very true. And there's a couple of things I think that could be going on here. The first, the ungenerous assessment would be that young Americans have got a perception problem, that they are perceiving the world incorrectly. And if that was the case, then what they need to be asked is, among other things, compared to what? When you say you're unhappy here in America, where do you think people are happy? Have you seen the rest of the world? Have you seen what other countries are like? Have you actually got your perception of the world out of kilter? Is the fact that your iPhone went down for a couple of minutes earlier today something that caused you stress? And might you not have that all out of joint, considering that you have a device in your hand that nobody had in human history until now? But the second possibility is actually it's not a misperception problem. And the gulf that you describe, Rita, between the over 60s and the people in their 20s and so on, actually does point to one thing which I think the American government and Western governments in general need to pay attention to, which is that the inability, and I've written about this in the past, the inability to accrue capital among young Americans. Actually, same thing with young Brits and same thing with young Australians, does have a consequence. Nobody in their parents' or grandparents' generation had it easy, far from it. But the way in which all the sorts of things like quantitative easing, money printing, and inflation and much more has just eaten away at the ability to accrue capital is one thing I think that does actually cause genuine distress and serious doubt in a lot of young people. If you accrue capital, you can get onto the housing ladder. If you get onto the housing ladder, you have a stake in your economy and in the market. I've been very worried for a long time that what we have are young people who are expected to be capitalists, but who can't accrue capital. And, the market needs to work for them as well. And I think this might be a demonstration, just one reminder that it's not working at the moment.